This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. Van.
Personal foul. Clipping.
It's a covenant cleanup.
Personal foul. Clipping.
L.
Let's go. Let's go, everybody. Let's go. Good morning.
Bullseye!
You're breaking up, Bob.
You're breaking up.
Shall we begin?
What's going on? And welcome to Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. This is 9 to noon, and the Minnesota Vikings practice facility version of the Friday football feast. Welcome. That's Nordo. He of the Howl variety, and I'm Paul Allen. Alec Lewis from The Athletic will join us today at about 10 o'clock, and we have some Friday Football Feast Buffalo Wild Wings style related news that we'll be sharing there. And speaking of sharing news, the Minnesota Vikings are 2 days into training camp, and for some reason, when I was watching some of the practice yesterday, I came up with this idea.
Oh.
And, you know, yours truly is in no way pretending to be an elite play calling mind. However, what do you think of this with J.J. McCarthy? First game, Chicago Bears, September 8th at Soldier Field, Monday Night Football. And, of course, aired on the vast and ever-expanding KFAN Minnesota Vikings radio network. Very first play against, Jalen Johnson may not be ready to go. What's the guy who messed up in Washington at FedEx Field? And he was arguing with the fans, and then all of a sudden somebody got behind him.
Tyreek Stevenson.
Thank you. The Cane, Tyreek Stevenson. So, you know, whether it's him and whomever else, how about this for the very first play of the season? 7-step drop the kid. All right. J.J. McCarthy, 7-step drop him.
Sweet.
Chuck one deep to Jefferson or Addison if he's playing, but Jefferson, Rondale Moore, Jalen Naylor, just somebody speedy.
Yeah. And
show them the Minnesota Vikings are not afraid to let this kid play the game vertically, and you got to honor it.
Okay.
Because generally speaking, when people talk about successful teams, and this is age old, and it's accurate. Here's the reality. A lot of teams, including the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, they will build from the inside out. So let's fortify the trenches and build from out to make the best team we possibly can have.
Right.
From a Vikings early season standpoint, and I'm anticipating that, you know, with like Justin Jefferson said yesterday, he's J.J. McCarthy's basically a rookie, you know, in that he's never played a regular season game. So it's his second year, obviously, but it's all going to be new to him. So a lot of these coordinators and a lot of these teams are going to think, okay, you're going to go short here. You're going to go play action here, try to get this shorty and get some yards after catch. And, you know, now you got this new running back who's physical from San Francisco. So you're going to do this with him. That's why very first play of the season, I think it behooves the Minnesota Vikings to put this kid on a 7-step drop with this nice arm in his hometown and the crowd is all, they're standing up. They're excited for the Ben Johnson era.
Yeah, Urlacher did a little pregame appearance on the big screen. Everyone's pumped.
Lance Briggs is wearing that bear costume, jumping around Soldier Field, takes off the head, and everybody's like, hey, that's Lance Briggs.
Jay Cutler smoking cigarettes in the concourse.
On the sideline, looking all cool and stuff like that. And you just chuck one up deep.
Yeah.
Whether it's complete or not. Let's just make sure it's not intercepted.
Yeah, correct.
But whether it's complete or not, you let them know. Lay off the kid. Lay off the kid, because we ain't afraid to do this. And we know that you know that we know that you know that we know that you know the ins and outs of raising young quarterbacks and young players. So we probably won't do this a ton early in the season. But we want your corners and your safeties and your pass rushers and your super special coaches to know that we will throw it deep. Yeah. And we do have 18 over there. And if you make a mistake or somebody slips, then it might go 73 to the house. So then you do that, you loosen it up after all of the oohs and the ahs from the crowd. 21 personnel is what they call it in the business. You got Oliver and Hawkinson with Jefferson and somebody else, and Aaron Jones is the back. McCarthy goes under center from like the negative 35, fakes the give to Aaron, fires deep, bringing oohs and ahs from all in attendance. Even if the look ain't great, I deem stuff like this important because the feeling is they will raise J.J. McCarthy from the inside out. With the blue collar approach, runs, quarterback boots, move plays, quick hitters, with the hopes of long gains. But if the Bears and others see the Vikes offense raising the impressionable kid in a way they're not afraid to fire deep, then teams are going to have to loosen the strings.
Yeah,
and that only is going to help the new Minnesota moving company properly open holes for Jones and Mason. You feel me on this? And good morning.
Good morning. I feel you a ton on this. And the tendencies, I don't have everything in terms of Kevin O'Connell's tendencies sitting in front of me. We know they pass more than they run, all of those things. Mm-hmm. But into the season, it isn't just a talker with us, but I'm sure those that follow the team even remotely closely would know that it's a talker about we want Jordan Mason, we want Aaron Jones to create this tandem. We want to run more aggressively, explosively, and efficiently to protect that kid.
Yeah.
So why not go 12 personnel? You got TJ on one side, you got Oliver on the other.
Yeah, 12, not 21.
You just go full max protect. You go under center, play action to Jordan Mason, and you drop back 7 and just launch that thing. And you know what?
Oohs and ahs.
Oohs and ahs. You're probably trotting Reichert on to kick the extra point. But even if it's incomplete.
Well, what if that happened? What if first play is like, I can't remember the year. Might have been 2013. I think it was 2013 was a bad year. Adrian Peterson won the MVP in 2012.
It was the first play.
First play of the season, up the gut, and he's loose. And there goes the kid right to the end zone. Oohs and ahs.
And if it is incomplete, run it again.
Yeah.
Run it again.
Now you're getting greedy.
No, now you're getting greedy. Here's what's interesting about this, though, if you think about it, in terms of respecting J.J. McCarthy, and then we want to create a run game that opposing defenses would respect.
Yeah.
What was the stat that you constantly, specifically later on in the season, you kept hitting on, and I don't have the exact particulars of it, but the Vikings and I think the Lions were in the mix here. What did they do more than everybody else in the league?
Play action?
It was long completions.
Oh, yes.
The explosiveness.
Oh, the 20 plus.
I think it was 20 plus.
Yes, it was 20 plus.
And it was constantly, it was Goff and Darnold and Goff. In terms of Ben Johnson's offense versus KO in finding explosives, right? We want to be multiple and give ourselves opportunity for explosives.
Get into the high red and see what happens.
There's no better time than to unleash an explosive.
Never see it coming.
Potentially, I mean, with this new touchback thing, instead of a 75-yard TD, it'd be 65. The kid might be able to hit the end zone from his knees at that point.
Yeah,
That's a shorter throw.
I think it'd be 75 because I think they're going to kick it to Isaiah Rodgers. He's going to be super hyper and excitable.
Yeah.
He's going to return it. He's going to drop it at the 20, get mad, dive on it, fall on it at the 25.
He'll roll forward and get touchdown.
And here comes JJ on a 7-step drop, firing deep to double coverage. Overthrow it, but just get him to loose. I just think the strings are going to need to be loosened on this against this kid early in the season. Good thing we have a smart offensive coaching staff because maybe they realize things like this.
Well, what if it's not just loosening the strings on the defense, but loosening the strings on the QB who's making his first NFL start under the bright lights?
Yeah.
And you have an offensive coordinator in Wes Phillips who wasn't afraid to urge to the head coach, like, yeah, this is a good spot. Backed up against the Niners to throw potentially a 97-yard touchdown, and it worked. And this is an offense that might do something nutty like that on opening night.
Right.
Loosen the strings on the defense, shake the shoulders a bit for the kid, let her fly.
And the name Jordan Mason was mentioned. And honestly, outside of the signing and the trade and what looked to be, I still look at that trade and it's hard for me to not think people with whom Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah used to work in San Francisco did him a solid. I understand there's a guy, I think it's Isaac or Isaiah.
Oh, the Guerrero?
Yeah, Guerendo,
excuse me.
Isaac Guerendo. Okay, they like him, and he's heading into his second year, and he catches better than Jordan Mason. So it's not the first time that somebody has been traded under the cover of darkness, and people are like, wow, what happened? Well, they happen to really like this guy. But just the totality of the deal, I didn't think that we paid as much as maybe I felt we would for somebody like Jordan Mason, who I think is going to help immensely this year.
Well, I think the transaction in itself is it's not jaw dropping. Let's not get too hyperbolic.
Was it a seventh?
It was super late round pick.
Yeah.
And it was, sixth or seventh, something like that. But I don't want to say it was jaw dropping, but it was super surprising to me too. And I even think about it now. I was joking, had Charch on last week announcing he's got this fantasy football training camp pick going on.
Yeah. And
he mentioned, Jordan Mason is kind of one of his sleepers in the league this year. He feels really high about him. And it just had me thinking, if, Christian McCaffrey, there's a ton of trust that you're putting in the health of a guy that just had to go to Germany to get stuff figured out and effectively on the shelf for the entire season, where you would give up on a guy that does have the talent, that does have the ability that Jordan Mason has. And for Shanahan, the way they run offense, we've seen him run through the Mosterts and the Elijah Mitchell, yes. We've seen them run through the Breida days and all of that. These guys go through running backs like nobody's business.
Tevin Coleman, Raheem Mostert.
Yes, and they were
Tevin Coleman murdered us in that playoff game we were out there.
Like 5 a clip.
Yeah, so for the former Falcon, man, they couldn't find him.
That was ridiculous. So for me, it was quite surprising that they were so apt and able, and the currency was really good for both sides. So, or at least from the Viking side, certainly. So it kind of feels like we got a deal on Jordan Mason.
Well, right. Well, and that's the majority of things we've talked about with him. But now that training camp is taking place and the steam is starting to emerge and, players are starting to play themselves out on the field, certain ideas are hitting a lot of people, including me. And like with Jordan Mason, how many touchdowns will he score, and around where will most originate?
Yeah.
His career long run is 55 yards. His receiving long is 24, and he has 0 receiving touchdowns. So, like we said, part of the reason the Niners traded him is they don't think he can catch. And McCaffrey and Guerendo, they both can catch.
They can catch.
Aaron Jones wasn't great last year running inside the 5. So I had the stat somewhere, but it was a really low percentage of like what he did inside the 5 when they gave him a try.
Yeah.
So I think it's fair to take the leap that that's going to be Jordan Mason's money, that he's going to be the running back inside the 5 if they choose to powerhouse behind Jackson, Kelly, and Fries. If they choose to go up the middle like that Mason is going to be the one to get the money. So
I think even Aaron Jones, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I had read something, so I'm shooting from the lip here, but kind of he even alluded to the idea like Jordan's the guy at the doorstep. Like Jordan's he's going to be that short yardage guy.
We're dropping fantasy football nuggets for profit right here, boys.
And for a team that had, I think they have 16 total rushing touchdowns the last 2 seasons. It's 9 and 7 respectively going backwards. So that's freaking awful. And again, not having to throw it 3 times from the 5-yard line to find yourself some points.
Yeah.
This has the chance to be a really exciting season with some of these touchdowns on the ground. And it sounds like, again, not trying to put words in Aaron Jones's mouth, but he kind of alluded to the idea that could be Jordan Mason's money.
Jackson, Kelly, and Fries are here to move man inside the 5. All right. Now they're here for multiple reasons, but they're really here to protect as they raise the kid and move man inside the 5. For Jordan Mason, scoring a majority of times, for Jordan Mason to get say 11 touchdowns or more this year, well, that just seems like when they get down there that's going to be where he'll get a bulk of his work. I mean, if they believe that Mason can powerhouse his way inside the 10, inside the 5, I think he's sitting on at least 11 rushing touchdowns under the assumption the aforementioned newbies, mash man, and the penetrating surge is right up the middle.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason they signed these guys and brought Jordan Mason in.
Correct.
So I'm not laying the over under here at 11 rushing touchdowns.
Ravens Midwest.
But nevertheless, Ravens Midwest or Eagles Midwest.
Maybe we start the tush push.
We might get it, and re-sign Brandon Powell.
And let's do Josh Oliver behind J.J. McCarthy.
Love it.
And not Brandon Powell.
Well, last year, I mean, we'll get into this a little later next week, but the Vikings went for 4.1 yards per carry on the ground last year. That was bottom half of the NFL. So that number doesn't need to get to 4.9 or 5 or Eagles or Ravens-esque, okay? It just needs to go up 20%. If that 4.1 can go up 20%, just 20% better, and up to, 4.9, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9 over the course of the season, that would really, really help and complement the passing game. Like last year, the champion Eagles went for 4.9 yards per carry. That's upper echelon stuff, man. They threw for, when it comes to yards per game, amazingly, their yards per game were in the regular season only were ahead of the Panthers and Patriots and right behind the Giants. So now it's not champions envy. It kind of is, but you look at what certain high enders are doing and how they're doing it and where they're doing it. And, in the copycat league, you kind of model things after that a little bit.
Yeah, certainly you do. I would say, the
Eagles threw for 24 touchdowns last year, which is mid-pack, and 11 fewer than the Vikings.
Man.
Just think about that.
And the Ravens last year, 5.8 a carry.
Ooh!
5.8 a carry.
Yeah, it ain't going to be 5.8.
By the way, they were, I believe, tops in the league in yards per attempt passing it as well. So it didn't work out well for them in the end. They didn't win a Super Bowl, but crazy stats there. But I would say, for me, bumping that yards per carry up. The one thing that kind of hit me a couple of years ago, and it's kind of stuck with me, is 3rd and shorts, running the ball. At one point, this was an 80% passing team on 3rd and 3 and shorter.
Yeah.
If we're leveling out that number and we're seeing that conversion rate go up, that for me will be kind of the home run story. That in combination, of course, with the short yardage TDs. But so winning at the doorstep of the end zone, winning on 3rd and short, the ability to run that in those spots, that could be a recipe for absolute knockout success this year.
All righty. Let's get funky from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center on a beautiful Friday. You're listening to 9 to Noon. It's a Brett Blakemore production. Nordo is here with yours truly, Paul Allen. And the set list is courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. It includes the Athletics, Alec Lewis joining us about 40 minutes from now at the facility. And at 11:03. Chris Cooper, the offensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings, joins 9 to noon on air, on site, on demand, and he's going to be on fire. We have HOF Immortality joining us around the corner, and we welcome you to the Friday Football Feast. Brett Blakemore produces, and I believe he also has the cash thing. Good morning, Double B.
Good morning. I do have the cash thing. The fan and BigDeck.com. I'm going to give you a shot to win bonus bucks at the National Cash Contest. Head to KFAN.com. The keyword is bank this hour. The keyword bank, KFAN.com. Keyword bank, more PA from TCO next. Minneapolis, get ready. Music legend Paul McCartney is bringing his Got Back tour to U.S. Bank Stadium October 17th. Tickets on sale now. One night, one icon. Don't miss it. Full details available. KFAN.com. Keyword count.
Joining us now is the Vice President of Programming for iHeartRadio in the Twin Cities. His name is Gregg Swedberg via Twitter. Follow him if you are so inclined, as 9 to noon does, at That's a Lot of G's, and he joins us from the 651 Carpets Plus studios. We asked Bossberg to join the radio show to give him covenant claps. It's the 50th anniversary of the Country Radio Hall of Fame, and Gregg was inducted into the Country Radio Hall of Fame earlier this week, as you probably heard via the vast and wildly popular Power Trip Morning Show. And Gregg joins us now. Gregg, congratulations, boss, truly and seriously. How was the Nashville ceremony?
It was cool. Paul, you know me. I don't like to. I think it's great. I don't like talking about myself. It's not like I'd rather talk about you, and I know you'd rather have me talk about you too. No, it was cool. I mean, it's like they put you in a Hall of Fame. Well, why would that not be the coolest thing in the world?
Yeah, basically the request was to give you covenant claps because it's
well, goodbye.
It's a wonderful, wonderful achievement, and but there also are some questions with it where you and I have worked together ever since I started at KFAN 28 years ago. You're a big reason that I'm the play-by-play voice of the Minnesota Vikings for believing in me so many years ago.
What professional football game did you call first and with who?
The first one would be at Metrodome. It was a cybercast in 2000. It was with you, and it was against the Atlanta Falcons
or the Colts. One of the two. It strikes me as one of those kind of teams.
Right. But there are some questions that I have that I genuinely never have asked you and would like to know.
Okay.
Like, where are you from?
Here?
And why did you want to get into radio? What led you to wanting to get into radio?
Okay, I'll tell the story. It's in the acceptance speech, which is online if you really want to listen to it, and I don't think anybody does. I went to college at St. Olaf, and I got involved with college radio. And the reason I did it was just the coolest thing in the world. You could do voices, you could, tell jokes. And the cool part was, way back when, you got to hear the music first. So, like when Hotel California came out, it was the first came out day one. We were able to listen to it. Rumors by Fleetwood Mac, big records in the end of the 70s. And you got to share that with people. And the whole deal was, you'd run around and tell you, hey, have you heard this? Have you heard this? And being on the radio was like you got to share it with everybody, right? So it was like all of a sudden, you became Mr. Music Expert. And growing up in my family, I was the least expert in music. My brother and sister always had better music than I did. But going to college radio, I had to share it. And then so I was able to do that. And I told my dad, I said, hey, I want to go into radio. And he goes, no, we said, you went to St. Louis. If you're not going into radio, and I said, well, I got another year of school I could take. And so he said, well, okay, you can do that, but then you got to go to the U and get an MBA. And when radio doesn't work out for you, you have to go get a job in a bank. And so I'm kind of hoping this works out at some point. So,
and clearly it did. Now, so like years wise, how long have you been in radio? And overall, whether it's K102, I mean, we're talking about the Country Hall of Fame here, so K102 would be the most identifiable in this market. But nevertheless, whether it's K102 or radio period, how much has it changed over the decades?
Oh, wow.
Like big time, right?
Well, yeah, a long time ago, we didn't have the technology we have today. I can remember when I was programming WLOL, which is the top 40 station, before I got to K102, we would have, I think, the air shifts were 3 hours long, so you'd have to have 8 different shifts. Some of them had 2-3 people on them. Some of them had a producer. You'd have a music director and 2 production directors. And now there's just a lot less people because technology has made it to the point where you don't really have to have as many people as you had before. The best part about working here in Minneapolis, we have the FAN, which operates like an old school radio station where we actually have a lot of people still working on it. It's still very, very cool. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's just changed so much. A lot of it's just technology. Some of it is the music business has changed a lot, and how people consume music has changed. So we've had to make, you have to adjust to that.
The correct me if I'm wrong here, boss, but the Country Radio Hall of Fame and Country Music Hall of Fame, are they different?
Yeah, they're not the same. No, okay. So you won't see there's a plaque somewhere now in Nashville that has my face and my name on it. But it's not next to Johnny Cash. So no, that's not the same thing at all. No, it's in a hallway somewhere. It's cool. I mean, I'm really excited about it. But it's you get Hall of Fame. You always think, well, the guy's career's over. It's not. I hope it's not, because I'd like to work for a little longer. So.
Well, it's like when the other day or during the course of time, when I have somebody like Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah join 9 to noon and say, he gets an extension, a pay bump or something like that, or the team gets some type of accolade from the National Football League, I'll talk to Kwesi about, what his role was in that. But I like to set him up for those who helped him get to where he is. So like here would be Demetrius Washington, Ryan Grigson, Andrew Barry, who runs the Cleveland Browns, stuff like that. For you, I'm going to present 2 names, and if you want to add more names to it, by all means, we have plenty of time. But over the course of time, multiple decades, I would imagine the names Travis Moon and Chris Carr. And Chris Carr, Chris Carr and Company, with Sam Sansevier doing the K102 morning show right now. Those 2 names and maybe others, how much have they helped you, influenced you, or been part of everything we're talking about?
I'll throw in John Hines and Donna Valentine as well, and Muss, who's also been doing it forever, has been part of that K102. I always said it's. Anytime you get an award like this, it's nice they give it to you, but in reality, they should give it to a lot of people. Right. I mean, K102 is generally recognized, nationwide as one of the better country radio stations in America, and has done a lot of really cool things. The largest St. Jude Radiothons has raised more money for St. Jude than anybody else. Both Travis and Chris are instrumental in that, and Travis has gone on to bigger and better things, and he's programming in Houston now, and Chris left for a while and then came back because he likes Minnesota so much. But we've had exceptional air staffs. I mean, we're really, really lucky to have really awesome people, and it's you don't get somewhere. I mean, I'm sure Kwesi would tell you that, hey, you don't get an award unless a lot of other people are doing a lot of good work for you. I mean, and that's the best part about the whole thing. So, but the good part about it is it's just part of my job here. So the other part about it is I get to go into Abbott's office and yell at him about something you just said. So, and I've done that. So. Yeah.
Or text us both during the course of a football game.
Yeah.
Like, Paul, hey, calm down. Okay.
They're only ahead by 7 and the first quarter, the game's not over.
Yeah. Well, it was that Bills game. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the last time you did it a few years ago. It's like Kendricks falls on the fumble, that Josh Allen down at the goal line. And I'm like, the Vikings are going to win the game. I look at my phone,
hang on.
5 texts coming. You're like, Paul, no. We've seen this defense this season, and there's still plenty of time.
And they did win the game, though. So
yeah, end of the equation. Was I right? Yes.
Why?
But it went to overtime.
That's why, Paul, you'll be in the HOF someday.
That's kind of in the weeds with our relationship, which has been great for many years. This is Gregg Swedberg, Vice President of Programming for iHeart Twin Cities. He's one of my and our bosses and friends that we've had for multiple decades, given we've all been together at KFAN, specifically the Core 4 for so many years. And it's the 50th anniversary of the Country Radio Hall of Fame. And Gregg was inducted this week. So he's shy about it, but it's a super cool accolade, man. And you know, you mentioned K102. The genesis of K102, Gregg, what's the history behind that station?
Okay, it was back in, I want to say, the first radio job I ever got was at KTCR, which was the only FM country station in the Twin Cities at the time, and I hated it. I did not want to do country at all. I can't stand this music. It was just same reason I got into radio for everybody, the same job everybody else wanted to do, which is being the morning guy in the top 40 station. That's what I really wanted to do. But the first job was a country station, so I worked there, and then about 1983. K102, KEY went from beautiful music to country, and it became like a dominant station. Started advertising, and it was like the first one on FM that was like serious. And so that's when it started. And then I got here in '91 after Public Radio bought WLOL, and they fired us all at Public Radio. So thank you for that. Right. And I came over here, and Mick Anselmo said, "Hey, come work here, and you can work with the country station. And oh, by the way, we just got the Vikings broadcast, so I'll let you hire that. And we got this AM station we don't know what to do with." And then I think it must have been probably a month in after I got here, I said, Mick, we got the Timberwolves, we got the Vikings, we got Hartman, and Guy Green and Greg Harrington were doing a show. I said, why don't we just go all sports? And he wrapped his head around that, and a couple weeks later, he pitched it to his bosses, and they let us do it. So,
so that's the origin of KFXN, KFAN,
it was
right?
KFAN at the time and Mick bought those call letters from some station, some guy who owned them in Texas, and I think there's a KFAN FM now in Texas, and we bought the call letters. Actually, we traded them. We traded them out. We sent him like $5,000 worth of trade. And got the call letters.
Now, just a few here before we close, because this is about you, and this is about HOF. So we're going to get your opinions on a few things here, and there's not going to be any pushback. There will be no rebuttals, and you can just talk freely about these topics coming up. But first, simply because I was preparing for 9 to noon, how did initials go? How well did things go?
It worked out today.
Did you win?
Yeah.
Bro, you're having a great week.
Yeah, it's a good week.
Yeah, you got a bottle this week, and just go ahead and put it off to the side, man. This thing's unbelievable for you. Well done. All right. Your favorite football team is the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes, it is.
And I thought it was perfect when working with Vikings public relations, last night, early evening, about the assistant coach guest today. I thought it was perfect to have offensive line coach Chris Cooper on at 11:03. Given you got some Dante Scarnecchia to you, you have some Alex Gibbs to you. You're an elite offensive line mind. So the Minnesota Moving Company into the 2025. Darisaw, Jackson, Kelly, Fries, O'Neill. What do you think?
If Darisaw and Kelly are healthy, I think Fries will be fine by the time the season starts. Kelly has to stay healthy. And then if Darisaw comes back healthy, I think it's one of the better ones we've had in a long time. I've been critical of that particular unit at times.
Yes. When
you'd get Bradbury get pushed 5 yards into the backfield by the nose tackle, and there's no way the quarterback can do anything with that. And people are yelling at the quarterback, like, do something. No, there's a guy in his lap. He can't do anything. So, no, I think they recognize that they got out physical, especially I think they did this to play against Detroit. Don't you, Paul? Because Detroit was so tough up the middle and such a good defensive line, they had to get better.
With our relationship, over the coming up on a quarter century of Vikings football that I've called, there have been some mornings where there's really nothing better than this. You go to Seattle for Sunday or Monday night football, you lose. Left guard Dakota Dozier gets pushed back repeatedly. You get back after moderate chop over all of Wyoming and Montana. You come to the radio station to do 9 to noon on like 90 minutes sleep. You've lost the game. You're negative. Then you go to a break. Door flies open. There's Bossberg. What are they doing here with Dakota Dozier? Are you kidding me? I mean, is Spielman going to look at this and this and this? I'm like, that's just great on short sleep, man. But
I appreciate you being
passion.
I appreciate you being my punching bag. And I realize that you don't make those decisions, but you're the closest thing. You're there every 2, 3, 4, 5 times a week. So at least I feel like I can complain to you.
But it's born of passion, and it's born of caring about the team.
I just want them to win before I die, Paul. That's all.
That sounds like a State Fair T-shirt.
Yeah.
And we need some ideas. So overall, what do you think of the squad this year?
I think that a lot of it just depends on McCarthy, right? I mean, it's like because they've fixed a lot of the defensive line. I actually think the corners of the defensive backfield will be fine. I think that Flores is really, really smart and can put him in a really good scheme. I think they fixed the offensive line. I think the receivers will be fine. The running backs are good. So it kind of comes down to McCarthy. Can he do it? And I think everybody's hoping he's going to be able to do it, but we don't have proof yet. So let's see.
Now you pull for all the local teams, as I've gotten to know over the years, but the Vikings and/or the Wild, whichever way you want to put it, 1 and 1A. Your beloved Minnesota Wild, the hush and please leave money has been paid off. 97 is
the unfair hush and please leave money.
Thank you.
The penalty the league put on the team was unfair, but that's fine.
But 97 still is unsigned. So your beloved Wild into the 2026 season. What do you think?
They were one of the best teams in the league before Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek, and the 2 defensemen got hurt. The question is, can the 2 defensemen stay healthy? And there's every reason to believe that Kaprizov will be as good or better this year, and Eriksson Ek looks healthy, and you have to hope that Urov can play and fill that third line center thing. I think Ogren will be better. I think that people are thinking Bouillam's going to be like top 4. Let's give him kid's like 19. Let's give him a break. He's younger than Faber was when he started. I think that team has potential to be really good. It's kind of sucks that there was nobody available in free agency where, we all got excited about that. I think they're a playoff team. Are they a Stanley Cup challenger? Not yet, but at least Billy has some money to play with at trade deadline if they are in position. And if they're not, then they also have players they can sell. So people want to rip on Guerin. I'm not one of them. I won't rip on Guerin. No GM is perfect in terms of all the guys they sign. To me, it's an entertaining team. What team is? Yeah, they haven't gotten out of the first round, but it's worse to live in LA where they've been more first round losses than the Wild have had. So I'm fairly optimistic. I want them to win. Here's another team. I'd like you to win before I die, and that would be great. So again, but there's NHL is weird. I mean, you can be really good and still not get very far.
My man, the purpose for this has been accomplished. 9 to noon, your Love Covenant leader. Just wanted to congratulate you and once again give you Covenant claps, man, because the Country Radio Hall of Fame, if you read up on it, this thing ain't no joke, man. And it's the 50th anniversary. And one of our big bosses, Gregg Swedberg, was inducted into the Hall of Fame this week. He got to go to Nashville.
I got to tell you a story, though, Paul, before I get it done. The woman went in with me. Her name's Mary McCoy. She's from Conroe, Texas. She's 87 years old, and she's been on the radio for 75 years. Wow. And that's it. I was scared to death of her just getting on and off the stage. But they show you, they do this like retrospective, and she's got pictures with Elvis.
Wow.
So it's like back in the day, radio stations would have their own bands. I mean, you would have your own band and you had singers.
Yeah.
She was a singer and a disc jockey, and she's been on the air for 75 years.
That's unbelievable.
In Conroe, Texas. No, it's amazing. It's exactly to me, that's what the Hall of Fame's there for, not for yokels like me.
Amen. So. And you mentioned that with Elvis Presley. So is Taylor Swift the most famous person with whom you've worked/met?
Sure, why not? I mean, well, number one, who's more famous than Taylor Swift, period, and I've met her, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I mean, you've done this multiple decades. So, I mean, there could be a Hank Williams, there could be a Johnny Cash.
Well, Hank Williams and Johnny Cash. No, Paul, we're not that old.
What about Conway Twitty?
No, Paul, we're not that old.
You're the best, man. Congratulations to you and your family. This is really, really cool. Tell Zandy yours truly says hi. And God bless you, man, and congratulations.
All right, thanks, guys. Have fun.
Got you, buddy. That's Bossberg, Gregg Swedberg, at That's a Lot of G's via Twitter.
HOF.
HOF Immortality, Country Radio Hall of Fame, man. That, when I started reading up on that thing last night, that's no joke. And you talk about the lady from Conroe, Texas or whatever. I mean, that's immortality right there. That's a wonderful accolade and very well deserved.
I love how he did get the bit, though, when so the Country Radio Hall of Fame and the Country Music Hall of Fame, those are different, aren't there? And he knew exactly where you were going.
Yes.
No.
So did you.
My picture is not next to Johnny Cash.
Yeah. When you rolled in this morning, I'm like, I haven't made a mistake here. But when I asked Bossberg to join, I was going to start the chat with, what do Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, and Gregg Swedberg all have in common? They're all in the Country Music Hall of Fame. Company claps. And then I'm like looking around. I'm like, damn, man, this ain't the same.
No, it's not.
All right, I mean, I got to learn about like Bubba and the Big D's and your guy who does the podcast with Matt Castle.
Oh, Bobby Bones.
Bobby Bones.
Yeah,
got all his albums.
But he has impacted clearly Minnesota country radio and radio in general.
When you got a plaque
in a massive way for the last quarter century.
When
plus.
you have a country radio related plaque.
Yeah.
In Nashville. I mean, that's Hollywood Walk of Fame-esque. It's immortality, you know what I mean?
No, he's been a big part of my time here, everybody's time here at the Fan, and just it's a tremendous honor and well-deserved. It's super cool.
So congratulations, boss. And 9 to noon continues from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center around the corner. Alec Lewis of The Athletic joins us about 15 minutes from now. And about an hour and 15 minutes from now, The Coop. The coop is on fire. We don't need them, let them burn. 9:43 on KFAN.
Fan.
Bonus Box is back on KFAN. We have 9 chances for you to win $1,000 every weekday. That's every hour from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. To enter keywords and learn more, head to KFAN.com. Bonus Bucks is presented by BigDeck.com.
This is your Vikes Bites leader, the Fan, and KFAN.com under a naval attack right now.
How good is it to be back here?
It's fantastic. It's been a wonderful, wonderful week for yours truly. Although I must concede these 3-day radio weeks are just absolutely wiping me out. I mean, it's 27 segments that just is wiping me out this week. No, it's absolutely fantastic. Being on the sideline, chatting with a bunch of people yesterday in Covenant Ketchup like fashion is. You know, it's you laugh at it, but then you like I'll say it during organized team activities.
Yeah.
And you'll think it's God's cartoon character, in childlike fashion getting excited about dumb things. But then when everybody else starts talking about it, all of a sudden it's like, we don't say the announcer saw that in March or April. Now everybody's talking about TJ Hawkinson's arms.
Yeah.
His jailhouse yokes. And McCarthy, like I was talking to a scout yesterday, and I'm like, well, one of the real fascinating things for me is having not seen some of the younger guys in 6-7 months or whatever. Then they come back and they're bigger or taller.
Yeah.
Look at JJ. He's 22 years of age. He grew an inch. It's the cutest thing in the world. He's taller. Well, see, it's awesome,
He's
isn't it?
He's out there walking like a baby deer. He's trying to catch up to his motor skills.
Right. It's sometimes with yours truly, so I'm preaching to myself some, but to a lot of other people too, is cliche as it may be, and, whether it's fantasy football or you're betting on teams or it's your favorite team, sometimes players, coaches, or whatever become these otherworldly figures.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying like rhapsodized or icons with the mic on, things like that. I'm just saying people don't look at them like they're real normal people like us.
It's true.
Forget the bankrolls and stuff like that. I mean, that's the path God chose for them, and these are the paths that we have right now.
They are humans.
But they grow and they put time into their craft, and things change and stuff. And when you see it,
now they grow upward, I grow outward, but yes.
Well, there are places for defensive tackles and offensive linemen and things like that. But I don't know what sent us down the road on that. But nevertheless, that was a fun part of yesterday, was just seeing TJ. I don't know what with TJ Hawkinson. I don't know. And if I stick around to the end of practice today, I might, as we say in the business, can a couple of interviews for Monday 9 to noon, and TJ Hawkinson would be one of them if I can make it out here
with the sneaky recording device.
Right, and something's gotten into him, and it's not like he hasn't taken pride in his career. He has, and he's been quite good, but all the work he did with McCarthy in like Nashville, and then they're all getting together and meeting and stuff. I mean, TJ's playing with his hair on fire right now. Every single thing I see him do is 10 of 10 speed wise. I mean, it's whether he's like tired of hearing people tease him about last year, about the ear problem and the hold in, and he had that injury and everything, and got the touchdown in the Rams game, his only touchdown of the whole year.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, I think something has gotten under the skin of Well, he went to that tight ends camp too, that big thing that like Kelsey and Kittle do and stuff.
Yeah.
So he's running around with, the dogs of all dogs ever to dog. So maybe something there inspired him, but it's like Greenway, man. When I first started to get to know Chad Greenway, he was drafted in 2006, his first preseason game. Chad tore his ACL on the very first play of the preseason against the Raiders of Metrodome. So he lost his entire first season. So his second season here, second, third, and fourth seasons, but first, second, and third playing wise, there would be times that I'd be on the sideline pregame watching him warm up, and I'd like say to a coach or a player, like, he's doing everything at such 100%. It's hot. It's humid. The heat index 105. He's going to have no gas in the fourth quarter, which he did have, but he was just like the hair on fire. It was the only way he knew. Hawkinson has some chill to him, and he still has some chill to him. But I'm just telling you right now, man, whether it's drills with Angelico throwing him passes, or it's in the actual, 7-on-7, 11-on-11 or whatever, everything TJ Hawkinson is doing with these new big arms is with intent. And it's like, I want to show everybody I'm a different guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know what kind of a different guy it's going to be. You know what I mean? Because he's already good.
I do. And we've kind of, in talking about TJ, and that was, whether it was part of Vikes Bites, but I mentioned it to you yesterday, just kind of everybody. It wasn't just one person that said, man, TJ's looking good. And you've mentioned it, and all jokes about being jailhouse yoked and all of that.
But his arms are no joke.
But to that end, it's like we kind of project, or we assume, okay, coming off the injury, he did have a tough second half of the season last year, finally gets the TD.
Yep.
It felt like a pity touchdown, really, with how things went against the Rams in the playoffs.
Yep.
And now, okay, full off season, he's going to be back. But we kind of project, or we try to dig through the perception of how people portray themselves. TJ doesn't talk very much. TJ seems like a quiet guy. And so therefore, man, does he want it? I mean, just kind of think about how, like, we as Rubes, and I'm speaking about myself here as part of this, where, man, he's not very boisterous. Oh, Jordan Addison doesn't talk very much. Does he want it? Well, he wants 19 touchdowns in his first two seasons. And with TJ, was he really back from injury? Was he trying as hard as he could? These guys are cut out of stone and have been operating full gas since they were like 10.
Right.
So, when it comes to the perception standpoint, trying to read through the tea leaves of how a person portrays himself in front of a microphone, or what you see them doing and saying or not doing and not saying on the practice field, you just kind of got to watch how it progresses. And you were right, whether it was back to OTAs and pumped to be on the sideline, and now we're doing depth chart and body types here at training camp, first early stages, and you're getting used to it. You're judging by arms, you're judging by height, you're judging by dreads outside of helmets, you're judging by yellow gloves guy.
It's a new training camp, and I have a roster everybody covets.
Yes, you do.
It's the big one on the special paper that Sarah from Media Relations here makes for me. It's just we're back.
We got palm leaves, we got grapes, we have shade, we got bandanas, we got binoculars, and we have depth charts.
O'Connell brought Barrero water yesterday, so that problem has subsided.
Yeah, how about that? And so with TJ in particular, whether it's a guy that's going to be in studio with us for the remainder of the feast, Alec Lewis, and you've just seen it across the board. Everybody in some stage of some stage of head-turning appreciation for what number 87 is looking like and what he's doing and how he's operating. Mm-hmm. I guess maybe that's how we just frame up Vikes Bites, brought to you by Thousand Hills Lifetime Grazed Grass-Fed Beef.
Now, here's how we frame it up. This is your slow-rolling everything this week leader, the fan at KFAN.com. Guess what just happened? Oh, no, it's break time at 9:59.
Oh, darn.
We're going to pause, and when we return, Alec Lewis from The Athletic will join 9 to noon for the final 2 hours, and we will unfurl Vikes Bites.
Let's do that.
And talk about day 2 of training camp with Alec Lewis of The Athletic and TheAthletic.com. We are at the Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center radio studio, part of the Vikings Entertainment Network with Nordo. I'm Paul Allen, and you're listening to KFAN.